Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, the deputy president of Uganda, the thief, ate ayeyongedde okulaga obutiitiizi era ng'ono bw'aba afuluma ennyonyi mukwano gwange abeeseefusi bamunona ku mulyango anti atudde ekiyinza okuddako. Baganda bange, mikwano gyange, twongera obajukiza n'obategeeza nti ebyamwami Museveni mu nnaku olukya yeeyongera okutya eggwanga ate lyagamba lyakulembera era lyagamba nti abantu bamulonda mu kwagala ne bamuwa akalulu mu kwagala. Baganda bange, mikwano gyange, twongera obajukiza nti omubbi eyabba bannayuganda aba alabika. Oyinza okugamba nti oyo yeewa security. Yes, fine, yeewa security. Naye tusobola kungamba nti omuntu emmundu ku ttooyi abeera ku mmundu. Buli wamu ye waabeera wataba mmundu tewaba bulamu. Omanya nti ono ensi bannayuganda baamukoowaakoowa dda. Ensi yamukuta. Takyalina lugero, takyalina kiddako, wabula ali awo naye yennyini tabitegeera. Akadde ka mwami Museveni kala ndaba nga kasiibula, akadde k'omukulu ndaba nga kaweddeyo. Mukwano gwange, gwe byolabanga ebitono byolabanga ebitannatuuka byolabanga ebitaasoboke mu kaseera kano tugenda kuba tubiraba era tugenda kuba tubirozaako. Tukkiriza nti tweyongerefu okukwataganira wamu era tweyongere okuba n'ekyokuddako. Uganda yaffe ejja kuba ya njawulo. Mwe muteekewo maaso, omusajja buli w'atambula atambulira mu kutya, atambula alaba ng'ali ku kizibu eky'enjawulo. Naye nga bino byonna biva ku ki? Bino byonna biva ku nti omukulu takyalina kyazzaako. Njagala nkulaga akatambi kano ate omukulu
kati abalimbi eti agenda zikolamu ebyamagezi atuuke wano agule emigo.
Ye atwesibyeko bwesibi naye ensi yamukoowaakoowa dda. Omusajja atambulira mu kweraliikirira, omusajja atambulira mu kutya, omusajja atambulira mu bibuuzo bingi weewaawo ansa nga ntono. Naye ffe twamugamba agenda kutuuka okwekweka yekka nga tewali n'amukanze.
Omuyobozi wa Uganda oweekya Mayuno ng'ava okutuleetera ebisibu eminuuno n'amangasa. Kati abalimbi eti agenda zikolamu ebyamagezi atuuke wano agule emigo alyoka atukala katemboko. Sayina amakulu ono golaba olaba yeefula siriyasi ng'anyiiza olowooza alina amakulu temuli wadde. Genda gula yawe ebigundi bya tiyagaza ate tugenda mu kalulu agenda oba wuwo bakoogeyo jajja embooko alyoka aziwe bino ebisirikale ebyagwagwa bitukupa emigo paka kuwulira bubi. Naye ku luno naffe tubabuulira twakalubye. Museveni bannaye mwana gwe weewola. Lumoja genda weewole e Burundi. Omutwe gwo mulimu kigambo kimu mpola bampoleyo. Oyina ebizibu tebikuggwako. Lumoja keera ku makya nga Uganda ogitadde ku mbaata zekakulire. Otuba atalaze bakuweemu ez'obwangu odduke kuba bannaye weewola. Yanga weewola baddaye. Bwenna watuuse wali bannaye n'olyoka otuula ebitanyuma wayiguliza oluyiguliza nga nze nno ndye eno ntidde ngamba ssaawa yonna mupangisa ayita mu luggi lw'emmanju bannaye ekifo nekiryoka kibuja kubanga sigwajweshaabwe olemwa ow'ekitirimita bannaye Museveni atuleetera ebizibu. Nze osanyula kukola mivuyo nga woofuna n'abawazi ba Uganda oweekya Mayuno ng'ava okutuleetera ebizibu eminuuno n'amangasa. Kati abalimbi eti agenda zikolamu ebyamagezi atuuke wano agule emigo alyoka atukala katemboko. Sayina amakulu ono golaba olaba yeefula siriyasi ng'anyiiza olowooza alina amakulu temuli wadde. Genda gula yawe ebigundi bya tiyagaza ate tugenda mu kalulu agenda oba wuwo bakoogeyo jajja embooko alyoka aziwe bino ebisirikale ebyagwagwa bitukupa emigo paka kuwulira bubi. Naye ku luno naffe tubabuulira twakalubye. Museveni bannaye mwana gwe weewola. Lumoja genda weewole e Burundi. Omutwe gwo mulimu kigambo kimu mpola bampoleyo. Oyina ebizibu tebikuggwako. Lumoja keera ku makya nga Uganda ogitadde ku mbaata zekakulire. otubaatalaze bakuweemu ez'obwangu odduke kuba bannaye weewola yanga weewola baddaye bwenna watuuse wali bannaye n'olyoka otuula ebitanyuma wayiguliza oluyiguliza nga nze nno ndyendi eno ntidde ŋŋamba ssaawa yonna mupangisa ayita mu luggi lw'emmanju bannaye ekifo nekiryoka kiwuja kubanga sigwajweshaabwe olemwa owekitiribita bannaye Museveni atuleetera ebizibu nze osanyula kukola mivuyo nga woofuna n'abawa.
All the people you see here have the age. Time is still with them. The dictator doesn't have time. Only he has a watch on his hand. He's over 90 years old. And you still believe in a 90-year-old man to do anything sensible after 40 years in power? Now, if you don't know where Uganda is is the center of Africa. It lies on the equator. And we've had a leader, a ruler, a junta, worse than Putin, for the last 40 years. And who tells you that you have to keep funding him, thinking you will make change? If he has failed in the 40 years, then why do you keep funding him? It's worse than before 1986. And you still think you can fund him to kill more people and kill more people. So, EU, all we ask from you is to stop funding the dictator. Stop the programs. They are not helping the local man down to the ground. The people who should be benefiting from the funding and the EU grants are people who are disadvantaged, and these are the majority, and these are the young people. They don't benefit. All the money goes to the junta and his brother. Like I told you, his brother is the shadow governor of Uganda. The wife is the Minister of Education. I don't think she has a primary living certificate. She's the Minister of Sports, a woman who has never run 2 meters in her life. And the son is the naughty one, like a we. He's the army commander. How can you have such a guy being an army commander? Be reminded, I met this guy in 1992 when he was in Nottingham University. 2 months later, he was kicked out. The university said, we have to let you go. You don't have any competence to stay in the university. I went on and became an engineer. And here I am, 30 years later, I see this junta junk of a boy making all these evil things. Who tells you he's a clever guy? If the university, Nottingham University, let him go. Let him go is a polite sense. They dismissed him from university in Nottingham. And you still think this is a man who can rule Uganda. The dad has never shown or displayed his certificate from Dar es Salaam University. This is where we are dealing with people who don't engage and have any development in Uganda. The best intervention we want from you is to stop funding Uganda, because the junta there, who has been there for 40 years, has done more destruction than compared to what Idi Amin did to Uganda. If you thought Idi Amin was bad, okay, Museveni's return is bad. It's bad for the economy, bad for public service, bad for everything. Inequality is the password in Uganda. All his tribesmen are in big positions, and the others are not anywhere. He is funding, he's killed all these cooperatives, and then relabels them, rebrands them as circles. What a Uganda we have. We don't have where people had an input in their development. No hospitals, no drugs. People barely have anything. The only thing we see on TV is passing out more army officers after army officers. We don't see him residing on passing out doctors, engineers. That is the Uganda we don't want. The reason that's why we have come to tell EU, stop funding. We are not on a begging trip. We are not. We are National Unity Platform. We are not begging. We are asking you to intervene by not funding the junta in Uganda. If you stop that, the rest will take him on. We know where to touch and hurt, and we are doing exactly that. It's taking us time, we are getting there. The dictator can see us in his wing mirrors. He can see us in his rear mirror. We are coming fast and quick. So, EU, stop funding the dictator. We are sick and tired. You are the next after USA. You provide over €1 billion every year, given all the 27 countries, the money they give to Uganda. You still fund our death. You still fund the prisoners. You still fund everything. In the last 10 years or 20 years, the junta has built more prisons than hospitals. What does this mean? He expects to have more prisoners than patients. That is a very bad sign. He's building more prisons after prisons. There isn't any hospitals. EU, wake up. Do we want more prisons or we want more hospitals? Do we want more educational institutions, colleges, primary schools, secondary schools? We want development. We want functioning institutions. We want a public service that's equal. You can't pay the chief executive of Kampala City Council 67 million and the driver 7 million, and then the permanent secretary gets 3 million. This is total inequality in public service. This is unbelievable. So why are we here? The emphasis is stop funding this silly dictator. We want you to stop this. If you stop this, we can take him on. Thank you for listening.
People power, our power. Listen to this. Only this week, the European Union has given the brutal dictator 80 million. You know the reason why? That because the European Union harvests cocoa seeds from Uganda. By funding this brutal dictator, you are funding our rape. You are funding us being tortured. You are arming the brutal dictator to murder us. You are funding our suffering. So you are conniving with the brutal dictator in making Ugandans suffer more than we are suffering. It's only in Uganda that a Ugandan cannot afford a £1 paracetamol. It's only in Uganda that Ugandans during this brutal regime of Museveni, we cannot afford a £1 meal. People power.
Our power.
Our power.
People power.
But you can see that even the poorest in the UK and in Europe, they can be given something to eat. You can have a sandwich. That sandwich, madam, you are having can feed 4 families in Uganda. But right now, Ugandans are starving because the European Union is funding, supporting the brutal dictator of Uganda. You still up to now send tear gas to Uganda, which is making Ugandans go blind because they are sending tear gas. This is real, that Ugandans are blind because of expert tear gas. In Uganda, it's death sentence. When you are arrested by the military thugs from Uganda who are being financed and funded by the European Union, they buy uniforms for them. They buy boats for these thugs. They arm these murderers, the European Union. People power.
Our power.
Our power.
People power.
You support a brutal dictator who is 13.5 billion rich. But in Uganda, we don't have no working hospitals. In Uganda, we don't have no schools. The UK is giving 1 billion to Uganda. That 1 billion can be used to house our brothers and sisters who are in the court right now. But that money is being gone to Uganda to enrich a brutal dictator who is already rich. That money can be used to build more schools in our country here than being sent to Uganda investing that money into our torture, into our rape, into our murder. People power.
Our power.
Our power.
People power.
NUP.
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
NUP.
We are here for a reason. You cannot be supporting a brutal dictator in Uganda.
Yes.
When you talk about democracy,
Yes.
it should be in Uganda democracy.
Yes.
We have to live in democracy.
Yes.
We live here in a civilized nation, UK.
Yes.
It's the same life we want to live in Uganda.
Yes.
We left Uganda because there were no political leverage for us.
Just say.
We left Uganda because of this brutal dictator. Some of us who haven't been to Uganda for years and years because of Museveni. 40 years in power is more than enough. You can't call 40 years democracy. That cannot be democracy. We've seen prime ministers in the UK come and go. We've seen presidents in France, they come and go. But in Uganda for the last 40 years, we are living under the same brutal dictator, Museveni, being funded by the European Union, being armed by the European Union. European Union sending a tear gas to Uganda, blinding our people in Uganda because of cocoa. Only this week, the European Union paid 80 million to Uganda. You are finding our murderer. You are finding our torturer. You are finding the rapists in Uganda. People power.
Our power.
Our power.
People power.
NUP.
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
NUP.
We want our Ugandan brothers and sisters to be free from this brutal dictator Museveni of Uganda. But we cannot have this freedom while Europe is still supporting military, funding, training of those military thugs. And when those military thugs go back to Uganda, they are raping our brothers and sisters. They are murdering our mothers and brothers. They are kidnapping Ugandans on daily basis. They are grabbing our ancestors' land in the name of democracy and being supported by the European Union. People power.
Our power.
Our power.
People power.
NUP.
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
NUP.
Ate eddoboozi lirina okuvaayo tozanyira ku kazindaalo kange.
Mwebale kujja kunakuwagira.
People power. Our power. People power.
Our power.
Our power. The dictator should fall. The dictator must go. European Union, you have made a day and you have invited us here. As we come here today, we're very sad. Last week, we had to send off our dear brother. He was killed by poison which was bought on the money sent in Uganda. This is a sad moment to be losing the young men and the women who are fighting to see their country developing. But the European Union is saying no. So long as we get cocoa, we will repay the dictator, and he continues killing you, and the story goes on. You have paid for 40 years, nearly 40 years. We have lost countless men and women. We are here to say enough is enough. European Union, from today onwards, make a difference. We are here to tell you, to inform you, to ask you, This carnage cannot go on, and we don't visit you. We shall continue reminding you that the death of every Ugandan, you were responsible and part of it. This responsibility, you've called it yourself. You cannot continue getting cocoa and other interests in Uganda. Pay for them by paying a detail, sending the arms, train those boys who are killing us. And you think we won't come here. If this is an embarrassment, just know it's good enough for us. We are losing our dear brothers and sisters. European Union, we are here to inform you, if you don't know, that since Europe came to Africa, we are suffering, and you have paid and benefited extremely from our suffering. Our land is being taken by companies from Europe. The minerals are taken by companies from Europe. The oil is a curse to Uganda. European Union, you have to change if Uganda is to change. You are the ones holding us here. You are the ones, you are part of the problem. If you don't recognize it, today please recognize. We are taking our steps, but you should also be able to change, to give us way. Ugandans cannot afford to die anymore for your benefit. I don't think if Ugandans were paying for death in Europe, you would be appreciating it. The same, we are not appreciating it. Respect Ugandans to continue to survive in this country with all the harmony they need, as you need harmony.
Yes.
We are not here to celebrate. We are here on a sad note that we're losing Ugandans day and night. Some horrible acts are being performed on them when you are the ones paying for the training of these officers. Bad things have happened to Ugandans when you are the ones training. Can you feel what we're feeling? You are paying for our brothers and sisters' death. Should we come here to say thank you? We are here to call upon you. Take all measures possible to make sure Ugandans can live in Uganda with dignity. You won't see us here. We won't be coming to this place. You live in this place with dignity. But here I think today you are in a shame. You should be shamed for us to be here to condemn your acts in Uganda. Dear European Union, we are here to inform you that you have done enough. Enough is enough. People power, our power. The dictator must fall, and all those who support him. Thank you very much.
Hello. We are NUP UK chapter. That is National Unity Platform UK. People power. People power. Our power. NUP. Everywhere. Kunga Segirinya. Kunga Segirinya. Kunga Segirinya. Fight on, Mr. Update. Repeat after me. Fight on, Mr. Update.
Fight on, Mr. Update.
Fight on, Mr. Update.
Fight on, Mr. Update.
Kunga Segirinya. Kunga Segirinya. Zimbuga Zi.
Zimbuga Zi.
Zimbuga Zi.
Zimbuga Zi.
People power.
Our power.
People power.
Our power.
NUP. I can't hear you. NUP. Now, we are National Unity Platform from Uganda. We are the UK chapter. We are living here as asylum seekers or refugees. We want to return to our home country. And our home country is Uganda. Uganda is such a beautiful country. We don't want to stay here in winter. We love our country. We can't go back to Uganda because the dictator in Uganda for 40 years has made it horrible for us to go back to Uganda. Why are we saying this? The junta in Uganda has been in power for 40 years. Add 10 presidents of America, that is the leader of Uganda. We've been under the same man for the last 40 years. And he's talking as if he's starting another term. I think that could be the 7th or 8th. So, we are here to ask EU 2 things. Stop funding the dictator. Another thing, just come out of Uganda before it turns into a genocide. What is going to follow, you will not like it. There is so much animosity that people won't separate good from bad. Given that Ugandans have been suppressed for the last 40 years, people have suffered badly under the dictator. As a good example, you keep funding public service. There isn't any public service. EU, behind me, keep funding hospitals. There isn't any functioning hospitals. EU keeps funding schools. There isn't any iota of education. They keep funding roads. Look at the potholes. They are not potholes. They are death traps. They are graves. A grave digger would find it easier burying somebody in the middle of the road in Uganda. That's how bad the roads are in Uganda. And EU, you still fund our death. There is more prisons out of the money you give to Uganda. Since you funded Uganda, the junta in Uganda has built more 6 hospitals. He hasn't built 6 prisons, no hospitals. We've got more soldiers than we need. We don't have doctors. He's passing out. EU, the countries in EU, keep training and funding. They arm the dictator. They give him guns. They provide the grenades. They provide the tear gas. France provides the tear gas. The bullets that kill Ugandans are from Germany. The guns that kill us are from UK. The training of the soldiers who kill us go to Sandhurst. Can you stop this, EU? We've suffered enough. Stop it. We are not begging money. We are not begging human resource. We are not begging for financial resource. We are well equipped. We have the resources. We have the human resource. The best intervention you could do for us, stop funding the dictator. We can take him on, and we can take him on further and well. The intervention I tell you today, EU, stop arming the dictator. Stop providing the guns. Stop equipping him. Stop doing whatever you think. It doubles silly when you give money and earmark it for hospitals, only to end up with a lot of guns, only to end up our sisters and brothers being tear gassed by the junta with the equipment from EU. Corruption is the currency in Uganda. They have never done anything. Corruption, the evil of corruption is the currency in Uganda. We had a census which cost over 100 million, only to come out that the population has stayed stagnant. And my tribe is lesser than where it was 10 years ago. That is a fiction. They went through the motions. There was no census. Yet we spend the money America spends on the census. With 200 million people there in America, they spend over 100 million. In Uganda, with a population of 47,